All right, it's later in the day and I have the sunlight coming in the window and there is a glare. These are all pretty much dried right now. I wanted to leave them on so you could see what my color mixing is doing. So this is dry now and that works well for me. I really don't have very much that I want to do on this. At least I don't think so. What I want to do is work on the edges a little bit today. And I want to talk about the importance of your edge work. There's hard edges and soft edges. And depending on how you use a hard edge, which would be, I don't know if you can see, there's a hard edge right here, a very sharp line. And here it's a soft edge. This is kind of fuzzing out. And you can use hard edges and soft edges to your advantage, depending on your painting and what it is that you want to depict in the painting and how you want the painting to play out. As a general rule, let's say you had, if I did hard edges all the way around, and it was a very sharp defined edge, that would automatically make the pear look like it was a cookie cutout pear that I just glued onto the canvas. Obviously we don't want that. So how do we want the edges to work? Well, when you have a hard edge with any kind of sharp, like here there's pretty much of a hard edge. I'm going to make this area a hard edge, but not down here. It's an effect to help bring the eye to an area of contrast, some place of interest. When you have a hard edge, it will help the eye get there. As you can see, the stem is a very soft edge right now, and you know, you don't really pay a lot of attention to it. So I want to work on this edge here, and also parts of the stem, and maybe this part of the leaf, because it's where the light is hitting. And what I want to do is help create this movement. This stem here is also very weak. It looks fuzzy, unimportant, and generally for the painting I want this stem to be less important, because I don't want anything going out, being drawn out of the painting. And this is the secondary pear. I want this one to stand out. So these are my thoughts right now. And let's see what we can do. I'm going to be moving down here. Let's say this is our line. It's old paint. Now, I do want to tone down this area back here, and because I want to give it that sense of it curving back. And let me see how this will work. You see how that just made it a little bit rounder, gave it a little bit more form. And I can work with that. Okay, and here, I want to get that part of the stem here, some more interest without making it stand out too much. That's too bright. So I want to tone it down. And do you see how that's beginning to play out? I'm going to leave this area fuzzy because it was moving into the background, and it's unimportant. It's the counterbalance to this bright area, and it provides visual contrast, elements that we don't pay a lot of attention to when we're looking at something. But these are all working to help create a painting that is visually exciting. The leaf I want to just get enough so that the eye catches on the leaf as it's coming back around. And here, I think I want to put and as you can see, I used a cooler green here. To help create the idea that this is more in shadow. I'm not happy with this sense of a line on the outer edge, and I'm going to reestablish that, redo it. I'm adding a little red into the blue-green to gray it down and not make it quite so stark. Okay, I'm liking that better. And we're coming down here. So what I want to do is pick up this little spot here. And I do want to keep that Okay, I know I start talking and then I stop because I'm concentrating and I can't concentrate and speak at the same time. So forgive me, you guys, for that. And to give it that sense of turning up more, I want everything to connect, as I said, to bring it around. Look at this beautiful dark. You can make like a warm, just using the quinacridone rose, permanent rose, which is a quinacridone, and a green, which makes a very luscious, warm, dark. Let's see how that looks. Yep. I want to give some sense of a shadow from this part of the stem because it's pointing upward. And do you see how that, just that tiny little bit there, just reestablishes the movement? And I feel like I'm almost done with this. I want to leave the background loose and don't want to get too involved with it. What I do want to do though is add a little bit of the ultramarine blue. burnt sienna onto the palette again, because I would like to use the mix of ultramarine blue with the burnt sienna, which is my go-to dark. You can see the difference in the darks between these two. I'm going to make it just to define the stem a little bit more. Okay. And to this dark mix, I will add a little bit of the green, I forget what it's called. And it's my favorite, the transparent golden green by Mussini. It's fabulous, especially for a Mediterranean palette. It's gorgeous. So I want to just play around with this one a little bit. I have not wiped off my brush, so the color is, the green is mixing into the burnt sienna. This here is too dark. I need to mellow it out. And as you can see, I'm not interested in making this area very defined. There. This little tip kind of going this way is also reinforcing the eye, so I'm not allowing the viewer to just shoot out of the painting. When I'm working within the same colors, different shades of green, I often just create the color without wiping down the brush, as long as it's all green on my brush. Okay, I'm very happy with that. So I'm going to keep that there. Now, because I want to create, again, this background color, which is basically ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and white. Okay, I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to define this area in here a little bit more. I'm using the medium to create a glaze of sorts. I'm just kind of going over the top. That just clarifies it a little bit more. I do want to get this part here. That's looking much better. And let's say in this area right here, you want to be careful when you have two darks. You don't want to put like the regular color here. If you bring it down into the darks, it's going to look brighter. Can you see that? It's just barely visible, but it's the same color, but it looks lighter, which means it creates more contrast to the eye and makes it an area that that you want to look at. And we don't want to look at that there. In fact, I want to make that very indistinct, like the area back in here as well, because we just don't want the eye to go there. So what I'm going to do is kind of smudge that. You see the difference? It just takes it away. It takes the focus. It's not an actual, this is much more of a strong focal point, but it doesn't distract the eye anymore. And so that works for me. The other thing that I want to do is, well, I didn't want to do that. Can you see? Because there was a little bit of light color from the background. came off there where I want it really dark. So I'm going to try that again. There we go. Yes. I'm going to make this a soft edge here so we are not brought down like a V into this area. But I will keep the hard edge up here. So I hope you're understanding how using the edges can be used as an advantage to help your composition work better and to help your painting look more alive. I'm also going to slightly do you see how just me smudging this hard edge back here, how it just made the whole stem area less important and just helps bring the eye back to the focal area. And in that same light, there. Now, this one is done. When it comes to signing your painting, that's also something that takes a little bit of thinking. You don't want to just put it anywhere, right? If I sign here, this is the way I think about it. If I sign here, generally I don't like to sign my painting that's really close to the focal area. I'm more interested in a less intrusive area, like being another supporting actor. So I treat my signature in the same way. I'm not going to put it in the lighter spots here. I'll keep it over here. And I think as a compositionally wise, if my name is, the signature is here, it's also helping bring the eye back down. Whereas if it's here, it's bringing the eye down. So this works better for me. I think a nice reddish brown will work. Yes, I think that'll work. So I'm going to move the camera because to get into sign your painting, you kind of need to have some space. So sorry about the glare, and sorry about the angle. Put a little bit more medium on that. And we're done. I want to thank you for following along on this little series of the still life painting. I hope you learned something and took something away with you. I highly suggest that you sit down with your paints and follow along and paint with me. If you do the whole process while you're listening to my thought processes and the things that I'm talking about of how this type of painting gets put together, and you actually do it at the same time, it will kind of gel within you, and then you have a foundation of how to put paintings together and how to progress in your painting. Please get in touch with me. I'm happy to look at your paintings. Happy to help you out in any way that I can. And if you want to go further and dive deeper with me into your own artwork and discovering your own creativity and developing your artistic skills, just get in touch with me. We can talk about doing a private one-on-one, and I also do small groups, not big ones, just small groups together where we go through the process of painting on a very personalized, close level, and happy to help you out there. So be sure to subscribe below if you enjoyed this series. Click the notification button if you want to know when I have something new coming up. And for now, that's it. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Enjoy. Filakya.